you to not be first?
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day.
This is Oscar Bevis for IFL TV. Red carpet Shane Watson, as he's known nowadays. This is pretty cool, isn't it?
I mean, it's quite cool. Do you know what? Like, the last few days, I've come to like respect the event for what it is in a way. And I'm not just saying that because I'm here. I just thought, do you know what? When you look at it from the outside perspective, both guys are getting paid a shed load of money. Both guys deserve a shed load of money, to be fair, especially Ngannou from the industry he's come from. And like when you actually come here, you realise like the magnitude of the event. I feel like we're at like a James Bond premiere or something. That's honestly what it feels like. And I don't know what I'm doing on the red carpet, to be honest. But I'm just standing here making sure Joe's all right, to be fair. But I haven't even said hello to him yet. But yeah, no, it's an amazing event. I believe one of the royals are here. Seemed like it because a lot of security outside. But yeah, what an event! Like it's astonishing. Look at the media you've got here from all over the world. Some massive names just randomly here as well. I'm not overly sure why, but yeah, no, what an event! What an event! It made me a little bit excited for the fight now. But even though I know exactly how the fight's going to go, but you know, sometimes you've got to appreciate a crossover event for what it is. They're a freak of nature. They're not going to happen all the time, and as long as it doesn't take over the main sport and become a thing that is too regular, then I don't really see too much harm in it. The only shame is that Fury hasn't fought a proper, like, world ranked heavyweight for a long period of time now. Obviously, that's the only disappointing thing. But I believe when he beats Ngannou that he'll probably fight Usyk. So.
Yeah, you saying that you're kind of coming round to the idea of Fury versus Ngannou. I guess when you heard about it originally, and your original thoughts were based around the fact that you've got heavyweight who wants a world title. You want things to progress with the belts and in the heavyweight scene. Well,
yeah, because it's before the defeat as well. So there was no excuse. They're both with Frank Warren, both with TNT Sports. Joe had created a big name for himself. It's a fight that the fans wanted to see. There was virtually no reason at the time why that fight couldn't happen. Listen, it's another story.
It was arguably the most demanded fight for Tyson post Dillian White.
No, of course. That's it. And there was no excuse for it not to happen. But listen, that's old news now. We've got to beat Zhang, otherwise it's all irrelevant at that level. So we'll get that job done, and Fury's got to get his job done. And if Fury Usyk doesn't happen, and God willing, Joe beats Zhang, which I believe he will, then that's a big fight that can be made at the end of the year. It's probably a bit too soon for Tyson, actually, probably early next year. So it should be a good amount of rest for Joe as well. We can have a holiday and whatnot. And hopefully that's something we can get on next year. But if not, hopefully we can see Fury Usyk.
Obviously, Filip Hrgović is in the mix as well. You've got the appeal with Daniel. I know things kind of never work out how they should, but when you look at the timeline and all the potential little bumps there are, do you think we might have to wait longer than a year to see Joe-Joyce fight for a world title, providing he beats Zhang, of course?
Not really, because the mandatory will get called in December regardless, right? So I think there's going to be a bit of mix-up with these titles. IBF's getting called, that's going to get called. The WBA might re-mandatory.
Could we end without seeing an undisputed fight, do you think?
I think the time for that was just gone. I feel like that was a real opportunity. It's definitely not impossible, but I think the best chance is already gone. And we've had that chance before when AJ had the belts as well. That's two great opportunities with Usyk and AJ to get all the belts on the line. And for whatever reason, boxing, politics, whatever it is, it didn't happen. But I hope it does one day. I mean, even I want Joe to be undisputed heavyweight champion still. So I've got hopes for him to still do it. But if it doesn't come quite around for him, I still want it to be one champion. It's great for boxing, and it's always good to know on paper who is the best heavyweight in the division rather than just split opinions.
I bet he's got the bit between his teeth to get revenge on Zhang in a couple of weeks.
Oh my God, man. Like, if I'm being honest, in a completely good way and positive, Joe has been an absolute maniac since he's come back. He's organising me rather than me organising him. He is on it, man. He's on top form. I'm so proud of how far he's come this camp. Look at the size of him. He's a unit again. Back to his old ways where he's ready to bully and beat people up. But he's been seriously good form. And when he retires, if his organisation skills are still this good, I think he deserves a role in the board at Eshram, mate, because he's been properly organised. To the point where, like, he's calling me constantly, asking me questions. I don't always know the answers to either, but, like, yeah, he's been bang on it. Like, this is when he's his most focused. So we didn't have any of that in the last camp, if I'm being honest. But this time, he is full 100 mode. He's like a sniper rifle, mate. He's ready.
I can't wait for that fight. It's going to be a mad, mad night. Just one final thing, your reflection on the weekend, Chris Eubank and Liam Smith.
Yeah, by the way, what a turnaround from Eubank Jr. I absolutely did not see that coming. I spent a bit of time with him in Vegas, and I still didn't see that coming. With a new trainer as well. I mean, it looks like he might not have that trainer for long, but yeah, no, what a turnaround! You have to give credit, and look, that's inspiration for people like Joe as well. I would say that was an even more one-sided first fight, because at least Joe won some rounds. Like Eubank just got absolutely poleaxed in the first one by Liam Smith. Whether it was an elbow or not, I'm not overly too sure, but and to turn it around like that in a rematch, that weren't just. Like, he didn't beat him on a split decision. He didn't just drop him or knock him out of nowhere. He absolutely battered him from pillar to post from round one till the end of the fight. And, you know, nobody, I don't even know if Chris Eubank Jr. himself would have believed he'd have pulled that kind of performance off. But he did, so fair play to him. And I hope he gets a big world title shot or just a massive payday, because at his age now, that's probably what he wants, is the money rather than the belts. He's got, obviously, his young nephew, Raheem, and stuff. He wants to probably look after people like his futures and whatnot. And I saw an interview with him the other day on Overlap saying, I want to have a kid of his own. Just setting up generational wealth, isn't it? That's what he's got to do. And that's what he'll be looking at. I think there's people's whole respect towards world titles have diminished a little bit. People just want to earn money at the end of the day. World titles are great, and that can also bring money. But people are going to take, what would Eubank get to fight Conor Benn? What do you want, 8, 9, 10 million? He goes and fights for a world title. What's he going to get, 2 or 3? Listen, you're going for, and you're probably going to get the easier fighting a blown up welterweight, aren't you? So, at the end of the day, that's what it's about. The world titles are great, but they don't pay your bills when you're in your 50s and 60s. But money, the big paydays do. So,
Choose to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt rings.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day,